Hey everyone, welcome to Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book. If you were looking at the bearded one, it must be 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, 2 out in Hawaii, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning out in Indonesia, and about 9 a.m. out in Australia. Welcome everybody to Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book. If this is your first time here, my name is Tom Springer, and I am your host. If you are a repeat offender, also known as a family, welcome back. I know I've been gone for a couple of weeks, but I'm starting to do these about once every 2 weeks just because of travel and everything else. Plus, right now, Halloween's kind of getting ready, so there's not a lot of people available because they're doing their own things, but we'll see what comes up later on. Anyways, as I said, my name is Tom Springer. Welcome to the show. I am not wasting any time, and I'm going to bring on my dear friend, a fantastic woman, and she has been on here once before, but it's been a while ago, so I'm going to bring her back on. Let's go ahead and say hello to Miss DeETTE. Hi, DeETTE. How are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself today?
Good. I am looking to see what's going on because, there's Mr. John McGinnis. So this is normal. I normally reach out and say hi to everybody.
Okay.
And just say hi to a few handful of them as they come in, and then we just start blah blahing. Thank you again for coming onto the show. I really appreciate when you come on. It has been quite a while. Primal saying hello to everybody. For those who are looking for Nikki will be here shortly. She is actually working a volleyball game at the high school.
Okay.
So she is not in the audience right now, but she will be by the time the show ends.
Awesome.
So she'll pop in and say hi to everybody and stuff like that as well. But again, thank you for coming on. I do like to tell people how we met. I'm going to do that and also talk to them about the last time I saw you. So we met simply because I went to a holistic fest, and you were there, and people know I pick people up by their energy. And when I walked by you, your energy was fantastic. I mean, a lot of times I have to walk by tables once or twice to get the energy because there's so many people at the table that I have to kind of figure it out. Yours, I did not. I just knew. I felt the energy over everyone else's. And I'm like, well, I have to go talk to this young lady. And so I did. And just remember, you're the one who agreed to come onto my show. So I have it's all your fault from here on out. So, but again, welcome to the family. Welcome back to the family. Everybody knows that once you're on the show or once you're in the audience, you are known as family. So welcome back. Now, the second time, most recent time I saw you was in May when we were at Broadhead Manor up in Broadhead, Wisconsin. And
Yes.
so I hunted you down again because you were there with a huge table and everything else that you were doing because you were doing readings while you were there. And when I first tried to hunt you down, you were already swamped because you were setting up. So, although I'm a man,
Yeah.
I think sometimes, because thanks to my 8 older sisters who taught me how to do that and pay attention, I waited till you were at a point where you were actually slowing down the next night after doing some readings and approached you and said, hey, hello. Big hugs all around, probably for like the third time in a row. But then asked you if you wanted to come back on the show, and you said yes, and that's when we started setting up this conversation. So everyone's caught up to how we met when we saw each other last. I love where you're sitting. It looks very beautiful. Back behind you is your backdrop, and everything else is very fantastic. And you always are beautiful. So that's just a given. I mean, but do me a favor for those people who don't know you. Introduce yourself. Tell them who you are, what you do, and how you got into it.
Okay. Well, my name is DeETTE. I'm a psychic medium and a medical intuitive. I also teach psychic mediumship development. And I travel all over Timbuktu doing this. So I am literally every place and any place. And it looks next year it's going to get further out, which is really super exciting for me. I cannot wait. I cannot wait because next year it's just going to pull directions. I'm going to be like so excited. So how did I get into this? My employment at the time burnt down. I had nothing better to do and jumped into mediumship on accident. You're like, what? That's the short.
I don't know what is. So.
I can honestly say I'm like everybody else. You're born with this. You know what I mean? Blah blah blah. I mean, to me, that's just the boring story. You know what I mean? It's not that it's not a good one. It's just a boring one. And for myself going through this, I'm never going to look at somebody and say, well, I just seen dead people when I was, a child. I didn't. I felt them. I knew they were there. I dropped people's bats. I knew things. I look back on it and I'm like, oh my gosh, this stuff was happening all the time. Although as a child, I had no clue what it was. I didn't know if I was coming or going. I didn't have anybody to go talk to about this. So it was basically on my own for many, many years. And, after my children were born, or my son was born, and then, of course, then my daughter, I got into tarot cards, and I kind of played with Ouija boards and just this interest, and I kind of popped in and out of it, for many, many years. And, it wasn't until I was in my 40s where, I was working at the original Famous Dave's in Hayward, Wisconsin, and I closed up the restaurant, on a Sunday night. And literally the next morning, I was supposed to be there to, start cleaning it because that's what I did every Monday morning. I deep cleaned stuff.
Yeah.
And my daughter woke me up at around 6 in the morning and said, Mom, you don't have to go to work today. You've been basically called off. I mean, that's what she said. I'm like, no, I'm not. She's like, Mom, the restaurant's gone. I'm like, no. Of course, you drive out there as fast as you can. And sure enough, it was smoldering at that point. It was a couple of weeks later, all of a sudden, I just seen this ad on Facebook saying, bring this free class to the first 15 people. And I went, okay, I was interested. And so I did it. And I was blown away. I should say my instructor was blown away because I didn't know my head from my rear end. You know what I mean? I really didn't. And so I love it. But really she would just be blown away because when it was my turn in circle, I'd be terrified. I'd hit, unmute, and I go as fast as I could, and I mute myself right away. And they would be like, holy crap. Whoa, how did you know all that? I don't know. And it really started a journey. It just started a journey of classes and until finally I just booked that first event and decided I was going to start getting paid, like I did. By that point, I did over 3,000 readings, all free. I was international before I ever became a professional because my free clientele was all over the world. Right. It was super awesome. I mean, I was so grateful experiences I had. And, eventually you go professional, and I still had my job. And then eventually I said, no, I didn't want to do that anymore and just started traveling the world instead.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think that's kind of where I am right now. I'm kind of in a lot of the stuff I do is free. And it's simply just because I'm still getting my feet wet is how I say it. But plus I love the job I do now because it lets me travel all over the world, and I'm teaching the military and everything else. So I really do love what I do anyways. But it's interesting because I've been told a handful of times now by numerous people that the job I do now is not the job that I should be doing. A lot of people tell me I should be working somewhere in the spiritual side of the house, whether it's teaching, whether it's some form of something on that side. I don't know what it's going to be, what it should be yet, because I'm still, growing up, and I still have to learn what I'm going to do when I grow up. And if that's what it is, then that's what it is, and it'll be shown to me. If not, then I'll just continue doing what I'm doing till I retire, and then maybe that's what I turn into when I retire, and I switch to that way full time and everything else. So, hey, Tim. So I don't know.
I'm a big one to say that, no matter what you're doing, you're always working for spirit.
Yeah.
Because in the military, you're training them how to come home, how to use their instincts, how to do a lot. Right. And people don't understand that with every job we do, you can't get rid of spirit. You can't get rid of your abilities, and there's these really popular sayings out there, like not everybody's psychic. BS. Everybody's born with it. Everybody's there are navigation system. Just some people are supposed to be talking, energy, and some people are supposed to do it, to navigate something else. They also say that, not every psychic's a not every psychic's a medium, but every medium's a psychic. That's another hooey type.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you look at the dictionary, it says a person that rarely, talks to somebody longer living. Well, I'll tell you straight out, I have yet to meet a person that has not talked to grandma after grandma passed away, or mom or dad, or whatever. That's mediumship, And so, but again, are you one that's supposed to do it or not supposed to do it? It's this, like I tell people, it's kind of like a heart surgeon. I could be a heart surgeon. I go to school. I could really work hard.
Mhm.
I could really study. I could get straight A's. But if it's not what I'm supposed to be doing, do you really want me cutting you open and cutting your heart up? Probably
Right.
not. You know what I mean? Just because I'm the straight A student doesn't mean that I've got that natural ability to do this.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but like I said, I teach this stuff, and there is not a person that I haven't taught that, for the ones that keep their full-time jobs, that do not take time jobs.
Yeah. And it's interesting for me because I still have that doubt inside of me. Like I was telling you before the show. Hi, Kathy. I told you before the show that I went and did a reading for someone at their house because they were having an issue with everything else. And Nikki will tell you, I was a little nervous about it, but I knew if it was supposed to happen, it would happen. But I was
Right.
still nervous because that was my first time actually going into someone's home to help them or attempt to help them. And for the first 10, 15 minutes, I fumbled around like a complete idiot because there was way too many voices in my head because I opened up and everybody rushed in and wanted to talk at once. I tell
Right.
people what I saw it like was after like a home team wins a football game against a team they shouldn't beat and everybody rushes the field. That's what it felt like in my head. So I kind of had to push them all aside and sort them out to find the people I needed to talk to. But ultimately, it ended up working out great. And I felt fantastic after it because I helped somebody.
Yeah.
But it was also very confirming that I trusted that I can trust what I'm saying and what I'm doing. So that's just that one home visit alone is a huge step for anybody out
Mm-hmm.
there who's listening to this and is afraid of this as well. I'm living proof that this is something that you're capable of doing. Um, just and that's stuff that you teach. You actually. So I want to get this out there right away on the bottom for anyone who. So I'm going to say it because not everyone watches us. Some people listen to us. Along the bottom, I have DeETTE's page rolling, and it's http:// www.deette, and that's DEETTE.us. All right. Now that's her page that you can go to and see all of her courses, what her latest video is, all this wonderful stuff out there that you can find out about who she is and all this other stuff. But you can also go out to YouTube at youtube.com/@DeETTE72. And that is her YouTube page. So anyone who's not watching and is listening to us, those are the pages you're going to want to go look at. And because when I first met you, I went out and I looked at your page and I loved your page.
Mm-hmm.
I still love your page. So I went out there now to see if there's anything different. The information's all different because you update so well.
Well, I have a really good web designer that updates really well. DeETTE does not do that.
but your
DeETTE
latest
does not do technical.
but your latest one that was on there was when you were talking and everything else. You explain it so well, and it helped. And for some of them in there, the older ones that talk about hey, how do you start? What do you do here first? What do you do? And that's exactly how I felt. So it's nice that we have people like you who post stuff like this. That people like me or someone who's just trying to figure out. Remember, my show is literally called "Stuff I Never Learned from the School Book" for a reason because we're all trying to figure out where to start from. It's a fantastic place to start from. And so, just for the quick shout out, if anyone's looking for stuff like that, your page is fantastic to go to for a starting point, and then to move on from there with you if they want to. Okay, so so you left your job. Well, you left full-time job. You started doing this full-time. You traveled all over the world, to even to places like Broadhead, Wisconsin.
Yeah, a whole 30. Yes.
Right? Such a long drive to get there. So
I know. You would honestly. I drive to Maine, not that big of a deal, but to get me to Broadhead, I'm like, oh my god, and always feel awful because I love Bill. I love Broadhead. Bill's my hubby.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But I cannot get my butt off my enough at home to get there.
Hi, Miss
And
Taryn.
I always feel horrible.
Yeah.
I should be
Yep.
there every week. So close, and my life's so busy I can't see to get there. So I always feel horrible.
Yeah, and it's funny because I follow you, so I know where you're at. So I know everywhere you're at. You're
Are
not
you tired?
You're never home long enough to go visit. Is the bad part.
No.
So
I
when
was gonna say, are you tired?
my mind is, but but So I understand why you don't go there because it's 35 minutes away. Because when you're done
Right.
traveling, you come home like, okay, I need downtime before I
Anytime.
travel that way again or that way again.
Yeah.
And so chaotic eternity. Hello, Miss Chaotic. Chaotic eternity says I have been looking for a mentor for my intuitive abilities that are just taking off. Thanks for the hint to check her out. Absolutely. One thing to know about my site is it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of talking, very informal like this is, but I'm always going to try to get you information. That's designed for what my show is.
Well,
DeEtte's on here talking about what she does, but she's also talking about why she does it,
mhm,
who she's helping. I ask people to, I'm kind of giving an insight, DeEtte, to everybody who doesn't know this yet, because some people haven't seen my show. I do
mhm,
this because I want you to know that you're not starting off on your own. I was exactly where you are at this point, which is why I actually created the site, Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book. So people who thought they had abilities, wanted to know if they have abilities, had abilities, but were trying not to break the universe, I would start this program and then I would bring on people who know what they're doing, such as DeEtte, and she would come in and she would help us. And it can be talking about wherever you travel to, whatever you're doing,
mhm.
whatever DeEtte is doing at that time is information for us to learn from. So that's
Right.
why I should bring the guest on. And DeEtte's a fantastic person to share this with because, as she just said, she was all over the world. And she literally walked
Mhm.
out of a famous Dave's and went, well, that looks cool. Let's go do that. So, so again,
I
I was
didn't
a
have much of a choice, Tom. I didn't have a job.
and I'm the same way. I didn't do this. I'm only not even 4 years into my abilities. Mine are very new
Right.
as well. So it's a big part of bringing people like you on.
Mhm,
Besides the fact you're just a fantastic, wonderful woman, um, but you get to share all these wonderful stories with us. So I
mhm.
want to continue with the story. So you're welcome, Chaotic, for knowing that DeEtte's a great place to go to. There's Miss Ajang. So you hear me say in the beginning the Indonesian time frame. That's for Ajang. Ajang actually
Oh,
watches
I
us
love
from Indonesia, so
I love that.
that's why I say hello to everybody there. Hello, Miss Ajang. Thanks for popping in the morning because it's tomorrow morning there now.
Okay.
So okay, so now you've traveled all over the world. You're still traveling all
Mhm.
over the world. You are
I'm still
lucky.
traveling.
So
Yeah.
right now you're actually sitting at your home.
I'm
Um,
in my house.
yeah,
Yes.
this is a
Yeah.
rarity. This is rarity for you.
But I already did. I mean, just before this show, I did an hour reading. Like literally
Right.
got on, had enough time to get dessert for my granddaughter, and then pop in over here.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're just nonstop, even when you're home,
Yeah, and when I'm
which is
home,
which
it
is
doesn't quit.
yeah, which is fantastic. Um,
Yeah.
where did you just recently go last?
Oh my gosh. I had one of the best weekends ever. I will tell you this. I mean, I have a lot of great weekends. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I have a lot of amazing weekends. But this weekend, if you, I was going to rate, this would be like the top two, if not top
Wow.
one. Seriously, like amazing. And I did not expect it. Um, I the first thing is it was a two-part weekend. So the first part, I ended up with Dave Schrader to an
Oh,
event at the Palmer House Hotel up in Sauk Center, Minnesota.
mhm.
And I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I'm going up there. I know I'm going to do a gallery. I know I'm going to do a workshop. I know I'm going to have a costume night. Really don't know what to expect,
Right.
and I will tell you what, just the amazing, the camaraderie and the amazingness and the uplifting, you know, I will tell you what, I'm always a person that has some self doubts and not about my abilities, but about myself.
Mm,
I mean, you look at me and people think my self worth here and it's probably right about here. You know what I mean? I'm always this. And it was such a great weekend because I really got a lot of self worth. I really got a lot of value on myself. I really, what, probably for one of the first times went, boy, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. When you just sit and everything clicks, you just go, this is crazy. This is awesome. You know what I mean? Um, and the feedback has been phenomenal. Dave is still talking about it, like on his show, and stuff like that, like a reading that he got just out of nowhere from me, and it's just so spectacular. And I cannot wait to go back again. Nikki, I cannot wait to go back again and again, and I hope I get to go back over and over and over again. Because it's such an amazing place. And then turned around. and I had, and now that's a 6 hour drive north for me. And I drove up there Thursday morning, and I drove
Hmm.
back Saturday night, which was fine. I got home, I don't know, around, I think it was 11 o'clock midnight. Woke up Sunday, got ready, did a reading, and got myself and my granddaughter in my car. And we drove to Waseca, Illinois, which is 3 hours south, to do the screening of the documentary we have just got done shooting. And Larry Eisler the third put together and edited it and put it in a pretty package.
Right.
Where he, myself, and Neil Gibbons got together and shot the seance, which was
Oh,
really cool. So me and my granddaughter went down there and with a group of people watched it. So it was just, the first screening, the first people to get it, to see it, firsthand before they start to put it out on the channels and put it into film festivals and all that wonderful stuff. So it was just, and then we got home around middle of the clock midnight Sunday night and Monday morning radio show. So there you go.
so just nonstop. I mean, that's literally
Nonstop,
what. That's literally like your life now. It's just nonstop.
nonstop, and I will take it all day long. I will take it.
Yeah.
You know,
And here I sit, furloughed. La la la. So
you know what? I wouldn't want my life any other way. This has
yeah,
been amazing, and the journey. And I will tell you what, I teach this stuff. I teach. I mean, I had a student today that's in Ireland. I'm pointing my finger at her, like, just, you're amazing. Now get out of your way, damn it.
yeah,
Excuse my language, but literally, I did that to her. I'm like, you were so amazing. You just need to trust. You just need to get out of your way. And this is what we're going to do now. I'm like, you got 2 weeks, and this is what I expect. Because she
yeah.
is that rock star awesome. And then I get off and I'm like, oh no, I gotta look at myself and tell myself the same thing. Like, oh, because people don't realize, no matter how much you do or how many times you're patted on the back or how many times you're told, oh my God, that's amazing. You still have some self-doubt. You still have some sort of, worth, whatever that might be.
Right,
Nobody is born just saying, oh my God, my stuff doesn't stink. You know what I mean? We
right.
all have something that just, I got to push through. And I mean, I'm pushing through the next level. I'm pushing through that next part to say, I am worthy to be here. I am worthy to stand on the stage with these people. I am worthy to do this.
Right.
Um, you know, Dave announced last night, I'm going to be on the stage, or not stage, but the event. And it's myself, Sarah Loomis, and Chris Fleming.
Oh,
You know what I mean? I know. And Chris, and they are both friends of mine.
so
But to be able to sit and work with them and to join them in one place and say, we're going to do this for some amazing people, you're just going, hearts pattering. You know what I mean? Even
so
though they've been friends forever.
right. So that's how you. So that's is that the mindset you're going to? I'm just hanging out with friends,
Yeah.
doing my
Yeah,
job.
just
So I mean
going to hang out with
that's
friends, my friend,
yeah.
and hoping I don't screw it up and embarrass them. Yeah. That's the thought every time. Just hope I don't embarrass them,
Ugh.
you
Well,
know?
and the whole thing is, and this is how I work because I'm in my own head a lot. My first thought process is when you said, "Well, I hope I don't go up and embarrass him," and then my first thought was, "Well, that's a fantastic moment, do," because that's just something that you'll remember, and you'll laugh about with them. To me, it's not detrimental when I think like that. I'm just like, "Oh, well, that's just another opportunity to laugh at something else I've done." So, but so maybe that's how you got to wrap the head around it, not be like,
You
"Oh,
just
it's," then just be like, "Oh, well, that's just me being me," type of thing. So
it's just pushing through, always
yeah,
through, always going, you know what? This is what I love. This is what I want to do. And there's never going to be a stop or a time that you're just so good, you never have to do anything. You
all
know what I
right,
mean? There's always going to be another level, another place, more detail, more experience, whatever it might be. There's always going to be another challenge. That's what keeps us alive. That's what keeps life fun.
yeah.
So
So
whether
I
you're
want
a
to switch
beginner
gears.
or already experienced.
Oh yeah. So I want to switch gears here a little bit
Okay.
because in the beginning, not everyone was here in the beginning, but you talked about being a psychic and medium as well as a
Medical.
medical intuitive. Um, how did you go about becoming a medical intuitive?
That one is, just as good as a building burning down, if you really want to know. By the way, whose back is killing them? I'm antsy because part of my back is killing me, and it's not mine.
So you have a lot of people in here that could very well be mine, since I did break my L4, L5. So
Okay, thank you. Because I'm like this, going, God, this just hurts. Like I'm antsy.
yeah,
My
my
back's gonna hurt
L4,
when I jump up
L5,
here.
my
Okay,
L4, L5 busted, and my C2, C3 are fused together. So
okay.
my whole
Then it's got to be you, because oh my gosh, it's just like ugh. Um,
do it.
so Tim was like, "Sorry, Tim, you don't have
So
that pain.
sorry.
You can go there." I'm schooling. Not your pain, Tim, because you don't have pain anymore. So the medical intuitive, that's really, you know what? That is probably that was a bigger what the heck than any. I mean, somebody told me I was a psychic medium. That was easy to take. No, okay. Um, than the app, because I truly believe I had been probably for most of my career, as a nurse. So I was a CNA for 5 years while I was going to school to be a nurse, and then became as a school nurse for 21 years. And somewhere in there, I went Reiki, okay, which is I call a gateway drug. It's like, let's get into Reiki because you never know what you're. It's a great place to start. You know what I mean? And that's where I started. And I can remember going into Reiki shares once a month, and um, even Coop's Pizza said to me, "Oh my God, I need to go to Hayward." Sorry, I know where that's at. I love it. Anyway, and it's actually their salads bar I want. Sorry, totally digress. Anyway, um,
Squirrel.
squirrel salad bar. They got the best. It's not a big one, but it's the best one ever. Anyway, so I was going to Reiki shares, and I had this mentor who, she's one that just piles them through. You know what I mean? And not that
Yeah.
she's bad or good or whatever. I was just part of the microwave process. But not a lot of education, when it came, because I don't think she understood. I don't think she got it, because I could be like, when you go to a Reiki shape, you're taking turns getting on the table. You have 3-4 people around you, blah, blah, blah. And I'd be at somebody's feet, and I could feel my shoulder would start. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck is this? And I'd say it like, my it's really hurt. No, I don't know what this is. And my Reiki master would come up and go, oh, you have an entity. You have an attachment. We need to clear you. And after the share was done, whoever was working, I would go, I don't know what you're talking about, but my shoulder was really hurting when you said, oh, okay. Well, of course, she's telling me I've got an entity, so therefore I'm not building much confidence here, but it happened over and over again. And then I found when I was going to work, I never had an emergency. Like, never once did I have to dial 911. Never once did I have something that I just walked into. And that very soon, I was an agency nurse, which is basically I do the job and I walk out the door, and you may know your clients, you may not know the clients, or if you're lucky enough, you know them and you stick around for a while. And I can remember going into places the first day, not knowing who my clients were, having a piece of paper, following the med books, and just trying to really kind of wing it or whatever. I shouldn't say that. You're doing the job the best you can.
Right.
And I can remember thinking, so-and-so, I need to go check her oxygen. Don't know why. I go in, and sure enough, the lady be like, get her an oxygen, and no big deal.
Right.
I mean, it was like I'd walk in and there'd be nobody coming to tell me. Now, the funny thing is you go back, nowhere in the report or even her medical was that I needed to check this person's oxygen. She had no lung issues. She had no breathing issues. So there was no reason for it. And that stuff happened. I would be getting a report, and, they'd say so-and-so's blood sugar was, whatever. And I go, what time was that? It was 4 o'clock this morning. I'm like, we need to go check it now. Oh, tours. Give me a minute. I'll be right back again. And I check, and sure enough, they'd be at 50 something. And it wasn't a normal for that.
Right.
It was, I could feel it. I just, and that happened all the time. I mean, it was a constant where that was just my life on the floor. I mean, right. I knew things, I felt things, I knew where to go. It was insane. And honestly, that's where the medical intuitive kind of started, and it wasn't until literally I started doing this work, and I'll never forget it because I was doing a gallery at a church in Lilydale, New York, and I was in my training period still. And I remember talking to this lovely lady in spirit, and I was high as a kite. I mean, I was
Yeah.
definitely inhaled, going like, holy cow. And I remember getting, oh my God, I was high as a kite. And my instructor goes, no, you weren't. I said, oh, yes, I was. No, you weren't. You just felt it. And it was like a nonchalant. But I found more and more that's the stuff that was happening. I was getting into readings. I generic feel bags. I feel this. I feel that. And pairing it with the medical knowledge, what was happening was I'm able to follow these systems. I'm able to see this. They're shooting stuff, to try this, try that, whatever. Send them to the doctor, see if, see this test, that test, whatever it might be.
Right.
And really people exploring that. And now I have doctors as clients that literally, like, looking at themselves going, oh my gosh, I don't know what well, if you do this, your lab, blah. And I got doctors' lab work because literally they're like, you said this would happen, and that's exactly what happened, and
Right.
to kind of help adjust themselves or have their doctors help them adjust themselves.
Huh.
It's been great.
So
It's been a crazy ride.
I do want to share with people the voices you hear in the background are not ghosts in our house.
No,
Uh,
it's my granddaughter. And my daughter.
Yes, we have people that live in the house with. They're in the house with her, so it's not. So
of course,
every once in a while. Well, no, because I just want them to know, because every once in a while my audience will pop in and go, "Do you hear those voices?" I just want to let them know it's okay to hear the voices. You're not haunted; it's actually living people that are there.
A lot of times they'll come in and say hi, and I'm like, okay, here they are.
So,
very transparent with that.
But that's really cool, and I want to share this with you because I have a question for you, but I want to share this with you as well. The reading I told you I did, I actually read about a dog illness, and I'm waiting to hear back if my reading was correct. Because it's the first time I've ever read anything for an illness at all, and it just happened to be about a dog. But is it only people that you can read, or can you also read?
No, I have one lady who calls me with all of her dogs, her dog issues. Literally, I will tell people. It used to be like, oh God, don't make me talk to your pets. I will send you to a pet communicator. And more recently than not, especially over this last year, and it honestly started with this one lady. She was my client and she was my student and whatnot. And I hadn't talked to her for a long time. And she gets a hold of me. I'm like, oh, what are we looking at? She goes, my dog. Oh, God, no. And I'm like, looking at, we got some issues. Can you help me figure out what's going on with my dog? I'm like, okay. So I literally start doing a medical dog and going, da, 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 da. And she's like, yep. That's all the symptoms she's got. She goes, the doctor wants like $6,000 for the surgery. I don't know what she's doing. I'm like, do you know how to cook? And she goes, yeah. And I said, you just need to cook it food. It'll be fine. She's like, what? I said, take it off. Like all the food you're giving it, just start making fresh and it's going to be fine. And she's like, okay. So she did it. I didn't hear back from her. I'm like, whatever, And a couple of months later, she's called me about her iguana. Like, she loves her animals. This is a lady that will mortgage her house for her animals. And I love that about her. So we get into the iguana. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't need that surgery, and whatever. And I'm like, by the way, how's the dog? She goes, oh, the dog's fine. I said, yeah. She goes, yeah. All I needed was a change of diet. It didn't need all the meds and everything else. I said, oh my gosh. She goes, yeah, but my vet does not like you. I'm like, why? And she goes, why? I stopped taking the dog because I didn't need to. And I'm like, yeah. And he asked where the dog was. And she said, well, it's healthy. He goes, oh, so everything works? She goes, oh God, no, none of that worked. He goes, well, how do you heal? She goes, I called my psychic. And of course he doesn't like me, So yeah, pets too. It doesn't matter.
That's good. And I was curious about that because I know that some people can do the human medical, but they can't do anything. They can't do everything. So that's why I wanted to ask.
You only can't do it if you tell yourself you can't. And I was the epitome of that. I was the person that said, not going to do it. I will send you to the pet commander. Nope, not going to do that. I'll send you there. And then all of a sudden one day I just started showing up going, let's do this. Let's just show up. Let's do it. If you're asking, I'm going to try,
Yeah, Nikki and I thought it was so weird because when the lady started asking me about her dog, she goes, well, my dog won't come into our kitchen and it won't do this with that. And I sat down for a second and now I go, Nikki, this is going to be different. I've never done this before. And I sat down. All of a sudden, I started seeing her old dog walk back and forth to the kitchen. And I'm like, well, your old dog's here. You used to have a boxer. And she's like, yeah. I go, brown, big floppy ears, big black nose. She's like, yeah. So I'm like, well, that's why your dog won't come in here, because your dog does not look up. Your dog looks here and is seeing the other dog walking. And one that she said, well, there's a growth on my dog. It coughs. And she's like, we're afraid it's cancer. I go, it's not. I go, it's just an abscess. I go, you're going to take it to the vet, and the vet's going to tell you it's an abscess and probably have to drain it and give you some medication. You'll be fine. I haven't heard anything back yet. I'm really curious to see how that went. But I mean, it was very, but it was very instant.
Yeah.
It was not like no hesitation on my part at all. So I was like, and then driving home, Nikki and I were like, wait, what just happened? I've never done that before. But it was like so instantaneous and so like it was my everyday life, like you're doing it. So it was very interesting to be like, all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm seeing dogs. I used to never be able to see, first time I've ever seen a dog pet walking around. And then I'm reading animals for health. And I'm like, well, that's interesting but I'm one of those that if I'm supposed to know it, it's just going to come to me.
Right. 110%.
That's exactly what it did. So
I'm just always that person because I am a nurse and I still hold my license.
Yeah.
Then I never diagnose. I just go, these are the symptoms. This is what I'm hearing. Please take this to the doctor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Please do this. Only because again, it's one of those things that even if you have like a 98% rate,
right.
It's always putting it back to the hand of the professionals, because I'm a true believer that when you bring Western and Eastern medicine together, because honestly, I would be considered Eastern medicine and yourself.
Yeah.
Bring them together for the best care.
Yeah. And I knew they were taking the dog to the vet. I was just telling him what I was hearing, what I was seeing, what I was feeling, was that. So that's why I was like, oh, well, I'm not really worried about this at all.
Right.
I believe, but you're going to go take the dog in anyway, so you get a full diagnosis on here in a little bit.
Exactly.
Is there? I hate to say it this way, but I don't know any other layman's term to say this. Do you trust your medical intuitiveness more than you do your readings, your spiritual reading side, or is it
I think it's pretty much equal across the board.
Okay.
And that's what I can honestly say, unless I get in my head, I pretty much trust it all. I do.
Okay.
Which I'll tell you what, when I'm doing a gallery and Dave Schrader shows up and I'm like, oh boy, right. And it took me a lot to fight past not who was coming through. It took me a lot to fight past me going, oh my God, this is Dave. And even though Dave's a good friend, this is Dave, but as long as I don't get in my head ever, I trust it 110%. Because, honestly, at the worst case scenario, what is it? I'm wrong.
Right. Yeah.
I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. I will never have 100% accurate. I will never, ever say I have an 100% accuracy rate.
So,
I will say I will show up. I will try and I will do my best, and I will give you everything I get.
Yeah. Primal has a question, and I'm going to screw up some of these words. So here we go. DeETTE, I am experiencing foveal schisis, I think it is, and cataracts. It feels more energetic, like an upgrade to hold more light. Lens of perception change. Any insights?
I'm all actually wondering what is it that she doesn't want to see.
Oh.
More of what I don't want to see. Kind of.
Okay.
That type of a thing. I know that sounds really weird, but it's kind of like a lot of times when, and people don't, and I will tell you what, I've learned it to be more true than not true, that we cause our own illnesses. And I know everybody in Western medicine is going to come at me for this. But a lot of times what I've seen is, and I learned it in Reiki and blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like, if like the people I've worked with, like stroke victims, I've gotten them on the table. We've done a lot of energy work, and literally I will see, the day of the stroke, I will see the actual what's happening. And I'll go, oh my God, what is it that you didn't want to be involved in your life anymore? That you didn't want to die, but you couldn't do it anymore. Like, oh my God, I forgot all about that. It's exactly what I was thinking. I was done. And it's like, wow, it's mind blowing to me. So a lot of times, eyes is what I don't want to see? What is there out there that I'm not ready to see, not wanting to see, afraid to go forward with? You know, you'll get that same issue like myself. I don't have it with my eyesight. I get shin pain or I get right leg pain if I'm
Oh,
afraid to go forward. Like that baby will hurt. And it's like going forward, you know?
yeah.
So
And she says, I see a lot of
but
weird
it's
stuff. I don't
not
know.
the stuff you see. It's not about you see itself. It's not about seeing, the boogeyman and stuff like that. Sometimes it's just what's next in your life, um, not necessarily, abilities.
Yeah, yeah, and that's interesting because you're not the first person I've heard say this. I had on another. Um, she does the same thing. She's kind of a medical intuitive.
Hmm.
RL, I don't know if you know who RL Foster is, but she's a medical intuitive as well, and she'll say there's something that happened that is all of a sudden, why do your kidneys hurt because of this? That's something
Hmm.
that before, or something else that is causing this to flare up now, or is causing you to deal with this now.
Right.
But it's because of something that happened in your past. So it's very, to me, it's more of a confirmation because I now have two different people who don't know each other saying the same thing
Right.
for items like this, which I really like on my show when I get two people who don't know each other confirm each other's comments. So
There's not too many of us that won't agree with that though, because we see it.
yeah,
We see it all the time. It is, and it ends up being little problems. And, it's like, just kind of go to her eyesight. I don't think it's what I'm going to see out here. Sometimes it's a growth in here. Sometimes it's a next step. So I'm not doing a reading for her. So I'm not seeing for her what it is that, that her eyes are not seeing. You know what I mean? It can be something very small. It can be something very large. It can be something that comes and goes sometimes, and again, like I said, I'm not into her energy doing a reading. But people don't realize that again, bodies, the
right,
medical medium out there. I mean, he's amazing, and he'll tell you, we do this to ourselves. And then he throws celery juice down your throat and it's a cure all, but but it's we do a lot of stuff to our own body, our physical body, because our bodies are made to have a cellular structure that regenerates and reheals itself, and we're able to go forward.
right,
People grow new limbs if you can live long enough, or live in other countries, that you don't have a lot of the other things.
right.
If they never tell you you can't do it, why wouldn't your body do it? You know,
Yeah,
but if you lose your arm and you're told, okay, you're never going to use your right hand again because it's not there, of course you're not going to never grow back because you told yourself you can't do it.
yeah,
So, but trust me, when I've worked with people that have had severe pain. What if you woke up and you didn't have pain?
yeah,
What if you woke up and you didn't experience this? What if you woke up and you did this? And it's the most magical thing to watch people go through this journey from being, pain, strokes, whatever, to help them with whatever it is that stopped them or halted them a little bit in life,
yeah,
and then watch them move forward.
yeah.
And that ends up being psychic and counseling. Tim's like, leave this out.
He's like,
I wasn't saying you, Tim.
yeah,
Um,
self-diagnosis.
I did
I've
not.
never seen one.
I didn't call you out on this, Tim. You called yourself. But I've seen people, literally go from, not being able to do something and working with them, because medical intuitive is amazing. I would say psychic's better, because even though they work together, like I did a reading Sunday night. And gentleman is 70 some years old, never had a reading before, and I do this reading. He was like, wow, wow. And I said, you okay? And he goes, I didn't know I was going to sit down and be counseled. I said, what do you mean? And he goes, you hit on all this stuff. There's no way you could have known. I said, okay. And he goes, but you gave me a therapy session and a way for me to move forward.
Hmm.
I went, that's what a psychic reading should be.
That's, yeah,
Psychic reading should be about not just giving you, hey, if you're going to win the lottery or not, or if
Right.
he loves you or not, it should really be something that really kind of, at least my clients get a hold of me, because it's, let's get in there. Why is this not happening? Why is that not happening? When's that going to happen? Well, let's go in there and see what's stopping it. Let's go in
Right.
there and see what you need for yourself to move forward. And a lot of times they're not able to see it, or they
Yeah.
forgot, or it's misplaced, or it's whatever. And a good psychic should be able to go in there and do that. And that's medical, intuitive, or everyday life.
Yeah. I find myself, I'm going to say accidentally, but I find myself accidentally giving people readings. Like I just did, Mystic Fest here in Council Bluffs, and I don't sign up as a reader. I sign up to advertise my show, and
Right.
I advertise to sign up to show that I'm part of the Paranormal Existence Research Society. So if you feel like something in your home, we'll come and check it out. But so many
Right.
people stop by my table, and all of a sudden they're asking me questions, this and that, and and they've asked me, "Do you do readings?" And I tell them no, not while I'm there, because there's people that are there that's their livelihood, is to get paid to give readings, and I try not to. But every once in a while, someone walks up and I'm like, "Hey, do you know that this is happening because of this? Or have you looked
Mhm.
at this? And maybe you need to start looking this way instead." And so it's interesting how it just kind of happens,
Mhm.
and people just, they don't know they're looking for the answer, or that they're looking for help until you give it to them. Like, you know what? I didn't know I needed that.
Right.
So it's really interesting how that just happens with people. They don't even know they're looking for something, but yet they do. But that here it is, and all of a sudden they're like, "I'm so happy I stopped by your table, even though you're not doing readings at all. You
Right.
fed me something that I needed that I don't think any other person giving me readings would have given me."
Right.
Um, so it's for me, it's kind of I had to be very, very careful with how I do it or what I'm doing at those locations, because I'm not getting paid to do readings. That's not what I signed up for. But
Right.
every once in a while, it's just like a little one or two sentences that all of a sudden it flipped a switch in them, and it was like, "Oh my god, I didn't even think of that."
There you go.
You know. And I'm wondering how many people, because I will tell you in all full disclosure, I have never gone to a gallery reading. I just haven't. Um, so I'm wondering how many people have that same aha moment, even though you're talking to one person.
It
You're
happens all the time. I explain it to people, it does.
yeah,
And number one, every gallery person reads different. Every psychic medium reads different in a gallery. Okay.
right,
Cindy Keza, amazing. That girl gets some names like there's no business. Oh my gosh. Boom, boom, boom. I'm not that person. Um, Sarah Lamos can literally have 60 people and she will read every single one of them an hour. I don't know. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's incredible. I don't read that way. I read totally different. You know what I mean? But I always explain to people, at the end of the day, in a gallery reading, unless you're Sarah, who's freaking rock star, I can't read 60 people in an hour, nor am I going to
right,
do that. You know what I mean? I don't want to put myself through that. I don't want, you know what I mean? Whatever. It's just not my MO. So I look at him and say, you know what? I want you to listen, because I do what's called auctioning off a spirit. I know it sounds so bad, but it's auction off, which means I'm going to go and I'm going to get a book from whoever's showing up. And I'm going to say, does this
right,
against anybody? If it does, put your hand up. And I always tell them, now when you put your hand up, don't do one thing, your hand up. If it makes sense, put your hand up. Don't worry if 15 people in the room got their hand up. I'm going to go back and get more information. By the time we have placed the spirit person, which only takes a couple of minutes, given at least 20 to 25 pieces of information, and every piece of it fits.
hmm,
You know what I mean? But I
absolutely,
also tell them, if you put your hand up from the beginning, even if it came back down, I want you to keep listening.
right,
Because what happens, I, I can't get every one of you, but they will off of each other. You know what I mean? I said, you would not believe after an event how many times people will come up, go, know that one? I know that was my mom. I know it was
hmm,
from, I just, I didn't want to take it away from them. And
right,
that's okay, because I'm not going to look at you and say, no, it wasn't yours. I know the person I was giving it to, that's where it belonged. That's their mother I'm talking to, without a doubt.
right,
Your mother sounds very similar, even though I'm and I can look and go, da, da, da. No, not everything fit yours, because every piece didn't fit.
Right.
but it doesn't mean that I similar message for you.
Right.
And that's what they do on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like I said, for never being at a gallery reading, that was kind of my assumption, but I just don't know. So it's good that you can share that, because I don't know how many people besides me, I can raise my hand, that I haven't been to a gallery reading. So I'd be interested to know how many of the people find that same thing, because if they had been to a gallery reading, I mean, if like you started off and you were like, hey, this is this, and then like 20 people were like, that's for me, and then it dwindles down, but all of a sudden be
They do
told,
it.
well, maybe that first 3 parts were meant for you. That was just a very short message for you, but everything else is meant for this individual person. So that's really nice. That's really good.
Well, it's amazing because especially when you get down the message portion, you could be giving, say I could have, say if your dad was on the other side and I'm getting it on, you're like, definitely my dad, boom, boom, boom. And I'm telling you everything your dad's saying. You're like, oh my God, that's my dad. That's my dad. That's my dad. And then all of a sudden he goes, I don't know what he's talking about. Journey. I'm hearing don't stop believing, blah, blah, blah. And you're going, oh my God, the journey. You know what I mean? You're going, oh my God, that makes so much sense. But somebody else is going, oh my God, that was the last things my mom told me or my dad told me was don't stop believing.
Right.
This journey is amazing. So his dad has now found a way to his message it and for him without me
Nice.
missing it with you. Does that make sense? And that's
Absolutely.
how they work. It's how they work. It's phenomenal. I mean, I will never try to figure out how they do it on the other side, but they have got great choreographers. They know
Yeah.
exactly what to say, how to get you to say it.
Yeah. They play telephone much better than we do. Basically, because I know we mess it up all the time. So what's next? What's next for you? Where are you going to?
In Eau Claire, Wisconsin, not this weekend, next weekend at Paganomicon. It's witchy season. So it's basically, it's not all Wiccan, witchy, it's metaphysical, paranormal, witchy. Patty Negree's coming in. I'm so excited. I'm going to see Patty more often than not, which makes me happy because I love her. And then and that's a 2-day event, I believe. The weekend after that, I'm in Duluth, Minnesota. Or actually, the Thursday after that, I'm at the Lyric Theater in Blue Island, Illinois. Blue Island, I'm doing a seance there, an hour-long trance seance where I'll go into trance and speak to whoever comes through, or they will speak to whoever comes through because I'm gonna take a nap and let spirit speak. And then literally we have Halloween trick or treating, and then I drive to Duluth that night, Friday night, for an event that weekend, and I do another seance that night. The weekend after that, I'm at Up North Paracon. I just got booked for that. So, and then Days of the Dead is coming up, which is always amazing, so that's super awesome. And then a lot of filming with Larry, and we're going to do the seance 2.
Oh,
So literally, even in the next 3 months, me and Larry have got
now which Larry?
2.
Tell people who Larry's last name.
Oh my God, Larry's my BFF. Larry's a film guy.
Yep.
He loves filming is his life. That's his jam. And it's so funny because Larry loves to film. I just like talking to dead people. And we started this a couple of years ago where he basically calls me up and says, "Hey, DeETTE, what are you doing on such and such a day?"
Yeah.
I look at my calendar, nothing. Well, I'm going to pick you up at this time. Okay, Larry, about what time are you going to drop me off? It should be about 4 to 5 hours, which usually means 7 to 8 hours. Okay. And should I wear jeans, shorts, sweaters, whatever? He'll tell me basically what to wear. And that's it. That's all I know.
So
I just know to be ready. He's going to pick me up. We call it absconding because Facebook doesn't like the word napping.
right.
So he absconds me.
Yep.
I have no clue where I'm going. I have no awareness. I'm just along for the ride. I don't know if he's taking me to Wisconsin. He's taking me to Illinois. It's whatever, wherever Larry feels like taking me. I mean, I do know I'm to Iowa. I'm going to Wisconsin and I'm going back to Illinois for some things. Other than the States, I don't know more than that because they're weekend trips.
Right.
And that's all I know.
I know that 10 November, Mr. Larry's going to be on my show.
Awesome.
Right?
Ask him where he takes me, because by then I think we have 2 scheduled by then, I think.
Yeah, 10
Um,
November, I wrangled him to come on my show. So
awesome.
he paused long enough to say yes. So,
Well, he's getting, well, not that he's got slow season, because he does not have slow season, but he's got 1, 2, 2 kidnappings before then. There you go.
nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
so he just follows me with a camera and goes,
Yeah.
we need, this is what I think we need. He needs one camera that's going towards me, and then he has to have another camera face back on him, because he's got he doesn't play poker very well. All I know is I'm hitting on something, because he's like, but that's it. That's all I know. And it kind of makes me nervous, because I'm like, is that right, wrong? But we just go with it.
You mentioned something that I'm curious about, because again, I also have not been to a seance. So,
Okay.
You state that you go into a trance. Basically, you go to a little nap time.
I take a nap.
How does that take place for you? What is it that puts you into your trance state? How do you prepare for that? How do you get into it?
You know what? For trance, number one, I make sure my outfits that it's not going to bother me. That is number one. Oh, it sounds weird. Like I had a beautiful woman, Jenny Coles. Don't know if you know her. I had her construct my Halloween. She constructed my Halloween outfit. I wanted to be Lizzie Borden for Halloween, and I wanted to be authentic in the whole 10 yards. And the time period is the jacket needs to be form fitting. Well, I didn't want it to, it has to be loose. I have to be able to sit down in this. I have to be comfortable. It can't be too tight. So literally she created a way to make it look form feminine, but I've got area to move. I mean, the whole thing is designed with me to go into trance, because if my clothes feel like I'm going crazy, oh my God, you should see this dress. You'd be like blown away. It's blowing everybody away. To have it. So my first thing is my clothes. Am I going to be warm? Am I going to be cold? The clothes have got to be comfortable. Mm-hmm. And that is way before I even go. It's like days. I mean, in this case, it's weeks, a few months before, Right. I make sure I'm hyped. I've gone to the bathroom. I make sure I have a lip balm on. I make sure that everything's set. My butt's comfortable. Do I have the right chair? It's all of that stuff. And think about if you're going to take a nap. All those things that drive you back to sleep. I have to address all of those things before I even hit the chair, because any one of those things will distract me from going in. I have to be able to be free and flowing and comfortable and ready to go. And then I just literally start to focus on my breath. When it's time, I start to focus on my breath. I start to just allow my energy to kind of go down. I go into a really deep meditation, and then I'm out,
Do you deprive yourself? Do you deprive yourself of like sleep the night before? Do you do anything of that sort? Or do you just like, no, I'm just.
No, if I did that, you just hear me snoring. Or you think I talk in my sleep. That's it. I just literally go out, it was really interesting. And it's really interesting because I was talking to Larry. The last science we did a year ago when we filmed it, we just showed it. Okay. And I was watching, I'm going, oh my gosh, that's really interesting. He goes, what's that? And I said, I didn't recognize it at the time, but you have to remember that was October 20th. We were outside. It was cold. It was cold. I had a heating blanket under me. I had one of my socks on. I had heated gloves on. I had a heated jacket on. I'm like, I was ready, and my body, I kept telling them, if my body's not warm, I know I won't stay out. And you can literally see through the seance, I go from talking third party to first party, third party to first party. And you can see I'm going into trance, out of trance, into trance. I did not know it, but it was just my energy kept shifting, and it must have been my body getting cold. So it would take me to straight mediumship, and then it would put me under again into first party trance. Just because that one factor was affecting me. Did it?
Yeah.
Was it still amazing? Oh my God, it was still phenomenal. And if you
Yeah.
don't know what the heck's going on, you wouldn't have noticed it. But everybody watching is going to go, "What's
Hey.
well,
Right.
it's really my body's still out, my awareness was still gone, but it's just a matter of the energy level was.
Right.
So those are into a factor before I even get to there, like, hey, this body, and I always say the body. When I'm talking to Larry and I'm talking to Neil about going to trance, I talk about the body. And they know it does because they know when I go in, my conscious is coming over here and somebody else's is coming through.
Right. That's really cool. Again, I haven't experienced one of those, so it's interesting because I didn't even go to Samont's when we were up at Broadhead. I
Everybody
didn't.
does it different. I just like to do
So
mine in trance. Not everybody
yeah,
does it in trance.
yeah,
Everybody does it. There's difference.
yeah.
You know,
I just didn't know how you prep for it. Like because
yeah. Yeah,
I know that.
Patty shows up and does them. They're amazing. She has candles and incense, and she brings in all the spirits and all the elements, and it's phenomenal. And she's very much awake. She chooses to do it that way. This is just a way I like to do it. So
Yeah, because you get your
yeah,
nap.
everybody's different, huh?
Because you get your nap in, so that's
I get
why.
a nap. I do. I'm like out, and I wake up, and I got all the energy of the world. I'm like, ooh, they shoved a battery someplace they shouldn't have, but I'm ready to go.
That's amazing. Well, we've been going for about an hour, um, so I think this is a good part to cut it. And of course, I'm going to bring you back.
Okay,
Simply because I like bringing you back, and my audience likes having you here. Um,
right.
but again, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Everybody, again, if you are watching, down below is where you can reach out and find DeETTE. And for those, again, who are just listening to it, and we may have came in a little late, DeETTE can be found at http:// www.deette, that's DEETTE.com, or I'm sorry, .us. Or you can find her on YouTube at youtube.com/at DeETTE72. So that way, everyone knows where to find you at. By looking at some of the messages, some people already want to come out and start looking at your site. I do want to thank you though for coming on. I love having you on,
For having
and I
me.
appreciate all the information you give the audience because again, this is very much a learning environment. Um, and so, I mean, if nothing else, I learned a buttload of stuff tonight just simply by asking the right questions. But other than that, do me a favor. So I'm gonna say this just because I haven't mentioned her name tonight, but Uilani Kuule says mahalo Tom DeETTE, great show, solid confirmation for me that I'm on the right path, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Awesome show as always. Mahalo nui loa. Have a great week. Stay safe, everyone. So yay. I always like saying Uilani Kuule's name and then actually like showing that I can actually say Hawaiian words. So
I love that. I'm impressed. I'm like, whoa, I can't say God half the time. So you're good.
they taught me how to do all that. So, but everyone else, as I'm watching, is saying thank you so much for a great show, and I love having you on. I will be reaching out to you as we go on because I'm going to try to. How do I put this nicely without? Nah, there's no nice way to say it. I'm going to try to sabotage Larry with a couple of questions. I'm going to need your help with it. So,
There you go.
there's just no way to say that nicely. I'm just going to come out and say it. Because he did say, hey, that's my girl. When I said I was going to have you on, he posted, hey, that's my girl. And he never
That's
popped
my
on.
BFF. That's my
So,
BFF.
I'm
Yep.
going after him for that because I said, well, come on and watch that. And he never
Mhm.
showed up. So I got to give him crap.
Which he's filming. He's filming right now or traveling. I think he just got done filming. I think he's traveling right now, and that's why. So
Are you part of the, I don't know if I can say, well, I know I can say it out loud because Britt posted it. Are
ashes
you part
back
of it?
or ashes
Yeah.
to echoes. I
Yeah.
am not. I'm not. I
Okay.
was asked to be on it. I was, and God bless him. But like he went. He even told Brittany, he's like, I'm gonna ask her, but she's kind of like a lone wolf, and I
Yeah.
really am. And this is why. It's because I'm very busy, and
Oh,
they,
yeah.
you know what, they want to go investigate, and I love that. It's twofold. Number one, they love to go investigate. They love to do all over the place. I love
Yep.
that for them. I don't have the time to do all the sites that they do. And I feel like it would be, even though they're like, just show up when you want, I feel like I'm cutting somebody off. Like,
Right.
you know what? A team you're expecting someplace.
Yeah.
The other board. I like I told everybody this weekend, I am the most paranormal person you'll ever find. I want to go in, I want to talk to dead people home by 1:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Why they think that people want to come up in the middle of the night, and they know they don't. But God bless them, because I think it's amazing. Everything that they do, the evidence, they think it's phenomenal, but they will tell you sometimes they sit and they don't get anything.
Yep.
Or they might get one.
And I'm
hearing the dead word in my head going, oh, come on, let's just be done with this. Let's go
right
home
now.
And
I had to tell people that at the show I just did. I was like, look, all the toys and all the equipment we have, it's not for me, because I can hear them, I can talk to them. It's for proof of the people who can't. That's their confirmation. I know what the conversation is. I'm having it with them. So so I'm there with
I have a hard time. I got things to do, and now I'm like, oh my God, I could be writing a book, or I could be doing this, or I could be doing that, Right. So that's me. But that's me. So I absolute best. I want them to have a blast. I want them to do many, many things. It does not mean that I will not be working with them. It just means I'm not on the team. So because we do have
a special guest too. So
there's just kidnappings happening.
Yeah,
that's part of the team. Will be there for the kidnappings.
You don't even know where you're going. All of a sudden, you're going to show up at one of these. You're like, oh look, I know this.
I do know which ones who will be there and who will not be there. Which means part of the team will be there. It's just that, you know what, there's a difference between kidnap and DeETTE. Let's go have fun and explore. With this filming, obviously. And the team is someplace where, Larry can go and have a blast and not have to worry about filming.
Right.
And I love that for him. I love the fact that he can put the cameras down, just really go and enjoy this stuff.
Yeah.
So
and it sounds like he's gonna have a blast with the team. So
they are gonna have so much fun.
Oh,
they're going to have a blast and things. It's going to be great.
Absolutely.
To watch their journey is going to be so.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to throw you backstage. If you have a few minutes, please don't leave, because I'm going to talk to you when the show's gone.
I have a couple minutes, Perfect.
Okay, so let me just close the show down really quick. Thank you again for coming on, and I will be right with you. I know Stuart tells me to stop squirreling. I know. My show is known for squirreling. That happens. So, okay, I will be right back with you. So, I'll see you in a minute.
Okay. Perfect.
All right, everyone, that's the show. All of my wonderful information is below. Everything that runs on it is stuff I never learned. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and Kick. Everything is listed as stuff I never learned. Why? Because I had to make it simple enough for this guy to remember it. So, stuff I never learned. Even my email is stuffineverlearned@gmail.com. So you are more than welcome to go out there and send me an email if you like. If you would like to reach out to DeETTE, feel free. If you would like to reach DeETTE through me, send me an email and I'll reach out to her on your behalf. I don't mind doing this. This is what the show's about. Making sure you're in contact with the right people. If you have any comments, concerns, whatever else, please contact me. And if I can, I'll contact them and bring them into it if they want to, and then pass the information back to you. Other than that, my next show is not for 2 weeks. I have on Ernie Atwell, who will be coming on my show. That'll be a lot of fun as well. Other than that, stay safe. Much love. I'm furloughed, so I'm just kind of golfing a lot right now, as long as it's not raining like it did today. But stay safe. Reach out to me if you need anything. Much love. I'll talk to you soon.